Hey, this will be, therefore, the opening match for them in the tournament, and their group's kind of already set because we saw what MIBR did yesterday, and we saw the other half of the group, so this kind of gives them a chance to really work straight into it.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, NiP have a great chance at this tournament of redefining themselves there. I said we still don't know whatever Get Right is going to be part of this lineup for the future. Maybe this event is going to be a tell in terms of, have he actually claimed a spot back on the lineup, or is they're still, looking towards finding someone new. So it's very important for NiP, and it's very important for some of these players, in particular Forest and Riz, that they step up now and find some sort of groove, find some sort of confidence again.
Yeah, especially after a rough major, then actually going to Blast, having Plopsky play, and they were pretty competitive. They actually played some solid CS, so the signs are definitely better for them going into this tournament.
Yeah, a couple of ties, a couple of best of ones, but Plopsky was there. Sure, I think that the major for them was a disaster, a catastrophe.
To say the least.
And on top of that, it came off the back of, obviously, some rather public claims from, no secret, for Flaren about NiP, so I'm sure that their world was a bit of a mismatch. Surely the players have to separate themselves from that. But nonetheless, I just want to get back to the format. Yesterday, Mouse Sports, we actually got all the way through to Saturday in the semifinals. Remember, 3 of the 4 teams in the group actually will play in the arena because the quarterfinals are on Saturday. Both these teams will play twice today, Adwokacik and NiP, because we have to catch up in the schedule. So a bit more Counter-Strike for them. As such, we've got an interview to see how they're thinking about things and how prepared they are for today.
Hello, my name is Grzegorz Szpero-Dziamałek.
Kacper Kejper-Słoma.
Piotr Marl-Staterka.
Grzegorz Dziadker-Jędras.
Wiktor Mejokruk.
I am from Team Adwokacik. My role are sniper, leader, sometimes coach and manager.
I'm playing for Adwokacik team, and my role in team is entry deader.
I'm from Team Adwokacik, and I'm lurker from Faceit for my team.
I'm playing in Team Adwokacik as a baiter.
I am playing for Team Adwokacik, and my role in the team is basically doing anything that is left.
My name is Nicolas Plopsky-Gonzalez.
I'm Fredrik Restaner.
My name is Patrick Forrest Lim.
I'm Jonas Lekra Olofsson.
Hi, my name is Get Right.
I'm a bit like Minio. I just do whatever's left now. That's my rule, too. And on the desk this time with you, we're going to talk about Adwokacik and NiP. We'll go back to NiP. I suppose we started there. Get Right. We had the big send-off. Big ordeal in Cologne. They did say that they were going to trial him to see if this contract would continue. It seems right now they're happy with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think obviously far too early of a send-off, considering he himself has said that, no, I'm not quitting.
Look, man, it might have been my fault. I'm not going to lie, okay? I might have built that up a lot. Let's just move on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you kind of have to look at how things pan out. I mean, whether or not he's going to be a part of this NiP team in the future, I guess a big question mark. They are in a situation where they might be in need of a bit of an overhaul as a lineup.
Yeah, I think it's getting to a point where I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I'm a little bit annoyed on that whole situation. I think NiP is too big of a brand, too big of a team in order not to have a clear line of direction, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like you involved in ENG, right? If you had a team where you didn't know, what the future holds for a certain amount of players, Plopsky coming into the lineup, how is he going to find his role within NiP when he doesn't even know like what his team is going to look like in a few months? They need to figure it out. I don't mind if they keep Get Right as long as that's the route they're going to go with and fully commit into that, and that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, considering the tournament circuit is so packed, you have tournaments coming left, right, and center. If you kind of let that dictate on when and how you do situations, how you kind of manage them,
sure.
you just never, it's never going to happen. You just keep on going.
And I will say, Jacob, you want to jump in, so I'll let
Yeah,
you.
I mean, it's just look at FaZe, you know. They had this whole situation where Olofmeister was out for quite some time. They played with Stanish, you know. They played with Exist and they played with Croman.
I mean, Croman that was a great time for them.
Sure. Nah, you say a great time, but
Right.
you saw what it did to the team afterwards. Nico was out saying in interviews that they didn't want to practice during that time because why are we practicing? Why are we putting in 100% effort when we know that Olofmeister is going to come
Still
back
getting
at
paid,
a
of
certain
course.
point? What, sir?
Still getting paid, of course.
Yeah,
Still
sure.
getting paid, of course.
Full salary, of
Still
course.
getting paid full salary,
salary,
but
of
it
course.
is hard as a player to motivate yourself to go in 100% to a team if you
Still
know
a
that it's going to
professional, of
change.
course.
You say that like a team owner now, not to.
Still.
And a former coach of NiP. It's like
Former
we have
player.
different perspective on the desk. Just to point out the commitment thing, I think you're absolutely right. Polopsky's an interesting one as well because we touched on this yesterday. There's not an epsilon in Sweden anymore. There's not a young team developing talent. It seems like they've almost gone the French team where they've got recycled talent. You still see Michael Lely kicking around with Pronax, with Twist
still pretty
now,
young
who's
though,
out in the
isn't
end.
he?
Sure,
Michael
but we're not seeing anything new developing,
Yeah.
right? We're getting a lot of the red reserve, the same leftover talent. Just quickly, because we're going to get into the game very soon. Adwokacik, Spiro obviously had some time at NiP. So did Morals. This is a team
NiP?
that could develop. Sorry, VP. This is. Thank you. Good catch. This is a team that could develop into something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean, obviously, we noticed some names. You know, have Morals over there as well. He had a stint with the VP at one point in time. Obviously, a VP that definitely wasn't at their best, but still, you know, it means that obviously he has a skill set, right, to work with. So I'm shooting the dark here, saying I'm not really sure what to expect from the Polish boys.
No, I think that's hitting the nail on the coffin right there. Not knowing what to expect from this team is true to say, right? And if you gotta manage your expectations a little bit, we talk about NiP as they are, you know, a bad team right now. And yeah, sure, they haven't performed lately, and the major was a disaster. But this is still a matchup they should win 99 out of 100 times. There's no doubt about it.
Well, that's what we're hoping for, I suppose, if we're NiP fans and Get Right fans. We don't have a lot of time. We're jumping straight into it. I thought we were going to have a little more time to dissect it. I'm just looking at the picks and bans because it's on my phone. I've got Train coming out for Adwokacik. NiP then took Overpass. Inferno's the decider. We've got our same casters from yesterday. Jason Kaplan, Tom Biz. How are you guys this morning? Long day yesterday.
Yeah, very long day indeed. We enjoyed our nice 2-hour nap we had before getting back in the studio.
Yeah.
Tom looking rested.
We never left.
That's true.
I've been in this chair. Like they brought me a new shirt, all of that stuff.
See, I never would have thought that you like to be the little spoon. But this is going to be an interesting game between these two teams.
Can't be the big spoon.
You say that, but it was interesting thing for this tournament for me is like we have a lot of these matches that we should have like expected results. Like this team should beat this team. MIBR should have stomped yesterday, but yet we've seen these teams come kind of out of nowhere, be able to compete against the best. You know, again, we got to see a lot of individual play come through. Connor, for instance, was phenomenal yesterday, really making a stand for Irish Counter-Strike. And I wonder what Adwokacik is going to be able to bring to the table here. I mean, the Polish group, the experience that Spiro brings to it is going to be interesting. He gets to kind of like use that, like we've seen other teams, to kind of help the young bloods in the team grow and rise. And as you know, Sedekis was pointing out, there's really like no teams to help build up regions like in Sweden. But in Poland, you have so many different teams building up new talent. They just haven't found the right mix of the five yet.
Yeah, I think as well it's quite difficult to find a home within the Polish scene as well. Like there's a few different teams there, but it seems like they're very difficult to break into. Like Virtus Pro was the sort of gatekeeper for a very long time within Polish CS, and while the fall of that team has left some openings, we've had the likes of Aristocracy, or well, you could say Devils One at one point, and it does seem like there's more opportunities for growth. Either way, we are into our pistol round, as it does look like the T side want to head over towards this B side. Now, of course, because this is their map choice, that means they start on the T side, which gives NiP a massive advantage. This is one of the most difficult sides of any map within the pool at the moment. It really is an absolute slog, a grind, and we'll see whether or not the Polish side, which is what I'm going to be calling them for the majority of this game, is going to be able to do.
All right, we'll get to it in a second after this pistol round. I'm going to make you say it at least once over the course of today. We do have a flank coming in from ladder rim, though. Morales will be able to take down Polopsky. So initial good start here for Adwokacik as they're able to get in towards the bomb site. The bomb should be planted momentarily. You can see how aggressive they're being. Get right, not able to hit his shots, and will be dropped in this fight. And Adwokacik going to have a big man advantage so far.
Either way, the 5v1 not looking too good for Lekra in this scenario. He's pretty good with the pistols, but this is a bit much to ask, and a strong start from the Polish side. We are going to have Forest dropped from the server, so we'll just have to wait at the moment.
Yeah, and also, you know, we talked to Sparrow before the event started, asked him a couple of questions, and, you know, asked about, like, general preparation. And I think he said it feels like they're not really super over-prepared for this event. They don't really have anything, like, unique planned for any teams. They're just going to play, as he said, an FPL kind of style. So a little bit loose, I would imagine, for them.
Well, at least he didn't say play their own game, because that's like that's the classic.
It's a standard, yeah.
It's the most boring, like, answer to any question ever. Yeah, it's like, oh, have you prepared for your other team? The answer is no. No, we're going to play our own game. Oh, okay, cool.
It's such a cop-out, right?
Thanks for that. I might as well have interviewed the wall.
You know, how'd you prepare for this event, Tom? Well, you know, I'm just gonna cast my own game.
Yeah, I'm gonna
cast my own game.
Well, actually, casting my own game makes no sense.
Well, as we get into our second round, Adwokacik do take the pistol. Yeah, so here we go. So W sounds or like V sounds.
Oh no, I know how the Polish language works. It's just a horrible name.
Well, it's just very true. I'm not denying it.
It's not very catchy. Let's be honest. Maybe
it's Adwokacik.
That's awful. Maybe it is in Polish, like when they say it sounds a little bit better, but it's nothing like the Ninjas in Pajamas. Come on, that is classic. Although I do wonder how that name came about.
I think that's actually you're asking the real questions here. To be honest, it's not about if you're prepared for the event. We want to know how'd you get your teammate Rez. Well, you just got a 1D on to Morales. Sorry. Minio going to be looking to push around, spots him out. Should be able to dislodge that AK they're able to secure. But we do see NiP invest into this round. The double scouts being used. MP9 for Get Right. Adwokacik taking their time to make the move on towards the safe side. You can see Minio knows there's a player over towards Z and actually get some decent damage done. Sparrow's able to take down Lecro, and you can see NiP struggling to get really some solid damage down. You can see Bolt, just of course I speak about it. Forrest gets the headshot on Sparrow. Get Right takes down Minio. And Cape is able to respond, but Get Right's behind them. He has a perk position. The bomb is actually down over towards T-spawn, so it's not like the bomb can be planted anytime soon. 30 seconds left to go, and they're going to have to run to be able to even pick up this bomb or somehow pull off these kills. And Jed going to be left alone in a 1-on-2. Glock comes in, it connects, but he has no health to work with, 1 HP.
Yeah, it's whether or not he even has time at this point. I think Plopsky, this is a very smart play. Just get up close, won't expect him to be here, and, well, tries his best. Was unarmored, so maybe a miracle shot could have saved him there. Instead, oh, you'd hate to see it. You hate to see that. Just throws away his weapon. Was hoping to pick up that AK-47, but it was a fairly risky purchase anyway. I think Sparrow, if I'm not mistaken, at the beginning of that round, only had a P250. I think he just picks up the AK off one of his teammates when they die. So, yeah, I've never liked that sort of purchase. Like when the rest of your team buy and you just go for a P250, especially when you're on the T side. Like 99% of the time, the other team, well, maybe not 99. I'd say about 70% of the time, the other team are going to force up.
Oh, Rez again trying to play aggressive towards connector in middle, towards T mid. As you can see, he's able to win out the battle yet again. Morales is going to fall this time. And we're seeing a little bit of a different style out of NiP compared to some teams we saw yesterday on Train. We're actually seeing a lot more aggressive, you know, ladder room or pop dog control, which obviously is kind of like a standard. But when we think back to, I think it was, I want to say Gamer Zone, yeah, against MIBR, they didn't bother to hold that a single time. They're more about holding this E-box position and using it to play aggressive.
Yeah, I do think that could partly be because of the weaponry that's currently in for the Ninjas. Like, you don't really want to be like holding from the connector with an MP9. Like, it's definitely not your weapon of choice, so you have to get up close. But we'll see. I don't think it's an attitude problem. But we'll see whether or not they are going to sort of be a little bit more dynamic, change up some of their style. I do actually quite like seeing like aggressive pop control just because it makes rotations back on this map very, very difficult. And it's always just an extra position that you have to clear. I think something that should be thrown in every once in a while is the double pop play where you can almost just have the one person watching the ladder, the other person peeking in the other direction to hold off A main. And it is actually quite a dirty crossfire to have, but fairly clean, winning against the force buy of the Polish side. Now they get the chance to really bolster their finances.
By the way, I know, you know, during the major, or right before the major, Forrest did have a kid. And I know his performance was a little bit lacking. I know he wasn't really happy with the amount of time he could spend, because obviously your child should take your priority. But when he played in Moscow, he actually performed a ton better, a lot better, and he was really starting to get back to a good form. And I wonder if he's been able to continue this kind of practice regime. If he's going to continue to show up when it comes to this event. A nice little spray down comes in out of Rez. From long range, actually, he gets those kills. And NiP off to an early start, 3-1. I'm going to see the bot come in back for Adwokacik.
Well, didn't in the previous major, didn't Alu have his first kid as well, I think. So
could be.
And he managed to get to the final, so I don't think that's an excuse. Then again, he is cold as ice, so...
I don't even want to comment on this. I'm afraid of what Nati's going to do to me if I do. But either way, I can respect, taking some time away to watch a newborn. Hopefully I don't have any out there.
I love how you've had to clarify that. I think it's okay to, see your child being born.
I respect it. Good parent. Get right, just going for the shoulder peaks. Going to spot them out. I'm going to smoke this off and try to cut off any sort of aggression. He's actually pretty much by himself, but the only close rotate is going to be Plopsky to come up ladder to go for a very quick flank. But we can see the bomb rotating back and back again, as it looks like they are going to commit to this A side, or sorry, this B side hit. But NiP, they're prepared. They're ready. They have a massive stack here, all 5 players in the vicinity. And I feel like this is just going to go very badly for them.
Oh, that's not making it any better. The peak down, the SG upgrade for Plopsky, and... Oh yeah, like you said, they've got their full rotation. They've got the defense as stacked as it can be. Forest with the AWP and Lacro managing to pick off one. The spray not quite connecting onto Morales, and actually Jed's traded one back as well, leaving it into the 3 versus 3. Forest in the open, but still managing to get the pick. But just look at the flank. 2 ninjas coming in from behind. Forest just keeping their attention, doing damage while he does. The flank a little bit further behind than maybe he expected as he goes down, but Plopsky is there to trade the kill and leaves Minio in a 1 versus 2. The bomb is ticking in his favor. There's kits on both players though, so there's still plenty of time, and Rez will come from above and rain death down, giving the ninjas another round on the board. Gonna go and retrieve themselves the AWP, I imagine, although seems like they're struggling to find it. But there we go, Rez will get it in the end.
Let's give credit to Adwokacik, though, considering they lost Sparrow in ladder room off the bat with him kind of dying, unfortunately. Having 3 players already in the site, waiting to receive them, 2 players towards ladder. They still were able to get the bomb down and pull it to a 1v2 situation, and I honestly didn't expect something like that happen, so some great entries coming through. As you can see, they're able to trade with Lekra, able to get that second for Jed. And all in all, that really wasn't a bad showing for them. Just a little bit unfortunate losing a player early on before they can even get in towards the site. Look at the lack of utility, though, with around 6 tile. Oh my gosh.
This is the man you want to be watching within the server, the young talent within NiP. I think him and Rez are the ones you sort of expect to step up. Although I do have to admit, last time watching Lacro has been performing reasonably well recently. It's actually been the sort of legends within Counter-Strike who have had their struggles. I think Forest recently having one of the poorest tournaments we've seen from him in a while, so hopefully he'll get a bounce back off of that. But this, I think, again, we've said this about some of the other teams, this is a good place for at least 1 or 2 of the teams to sort of build. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, they've had some poor performances. You could say the same for MIBR with recent changes, and now there's an opportunity for them to get a decent amount of money under their belt, play against some reasonable teams with a bit of an easier start, you would say. Now we get to see if the Polish team are going to put up the same level of fight that we've seen from all of the teams yesterday, because that was the team that actually seemed to struggle the most were their Polish counterparts in Virtus Pro. Like, they were the one I think was a bit underwhelming. Everybody else sort of caught us off guard a bit. Like, I think even though we sort of know going into things that Tricked are a good team, we definitely didn't expect them to get to a point where in reality they probably should have beaten Mouse Sports. Like, you have to remember yesterday there was a point in overtime where they were 3-0 up and then lost 3 rounds in a row. So we were surprised by them. I think a lot of the Hungarian team, they caught us off guard as well. Didn't expect them to do as well as they did. So yeah, there's a lot of positives within this tournament so far. So if the guys at Advo, there we go, I'll cut off half the name.
We'll get you to the full thing
to tease
eventually.
you, just to tease you. Just to tease you. If they can also step up and give the Ninjas a run for their money, then this tournament really is wide open.
Yeah, it's really weird considering you have these big names. I mean, you got Mouse Sports, just to say the three Mouse Sports, MIBR, and NiP, and yet these teams have struggled. MIBR dropped a map, Mouse Sports dropped a map, and almost dropped the whole series. Can NiP be the staple for the teams here? And yeah, you're not going to get across this, I would imagine, any time at all in this round. NiP up to 6-1 lead off the bat. But I enjoy this. I think, like, again, having like qualifiers for events like this, getting teams that would never really have a chance to play in big tournaments against, you know, some of these top teams, it gives them so much experience. Even if they lose, even if they get knocked out of the tournament, they get the first-hand experience to improve their own game, and that's what helps really build up regions, or helps break out new players. Connor, again, to keep bringing up his name, the Irish star we saw yesterday, had a fantastic game, had a phenomenal game. I wonder if they can be able to play just as well today. I'm obviously going to find out later on as the day does go, but I've been pleasantly impressed with quite a few different players since yesterday.
Yeah, I think the only thing that worries me is that in that game yesterday, they were like severe underdogs. So you come in with very little pressure, whereas when you come into the match today, we expect a lot more from them. And I think that their opponents will also expect a lot more from them. So I think there's actually a higher chance, I'd say, that they get destroyed today, just because going into the matches yesterday, nobody expected anything from them.
Yeah.
Like Mouse Sports, I think, severely underestimated their opponents. Like it was even said by Adwokacik in the interview that he was like, yeah, we sort of came in really tired and weren't really coming properly. And then we won. Like that was sort of the way he said it. Spira, though, it's going to be able to kick things off. Now, this is something that they've really struggled with on the Polish side so far, is finding any sort of openers into these rounds. And that is one of the main problems of this map in general. It's somewhat interesting to me that they've said, okay, we're going to try and play this FPL style, and then they've picked one of the grindiest T-sides in the whole of the game. Like the real map where you do need to have your sort of players hitting all of their shots, but also need to have the sort of decent smoke setups and the ability to get into the sites.
Well, to be fair to them, at least, this is their one of their best maps in the last 3 months, and it's one of NiP's worst maps, to be fair. But yeah, I definitely agree. If they're trying to look for any picks and play the FPL kind of style, this is definitely not the one you'd want to choose. But Overpass and Inferno is our next two maps. Maybe they can change their fates as we get to the point. The bomb has been put down. 20 seconds and counting. We do have a flank coming in from behind. That's going to be Plopsky. We also have a flank out of Adwokacik coming in from the outside as well. That's going to be Morals. And Rez, well, I don't think there's going to be time for the flank to come in anymore. Plopsky gets in, and now it's going to be all on Morals all by himself. And Forrest will shut that down. So NiP, another round on the board. Man, look at that. 7 rounds straight for them after losing the pistol.
Yeah, and this is the sort of dominance we expected to see from some of the teams yesterday. Like, they're not only winning these rounds, they're winning them easily. Like, Plopsky's died once. Forrest and Rez have only died 3 times. Money on their side is with the majority of their players close to the $10,000 or above. And we're only, what, round 9? Like, that's a big worry.
Yeah.
And as said, like, I understand, like, you like to play train, but that's the thing you have to think of with this veto. The way that things work now is if you are choosing the map, your opponent gets to choose the side. Do you really want your first map to be the T side of train? Like, it's incredibly difficult, especially for your first game of the day. Like, maybe later on when you feel like you're hitting your shots and you're a little bit more confident in yourself, but I know that seems silly to sort of look at it that way, but you're going in as heavy underdogs and giving them one of the easiest sides of any map to play.
I'd say yes or no on that point. I'll get back to it in a second. We do see Adwokacik actually pushed in towards the site. Get right, actually tucked away, gets the first kill. More importantly, stays alive for a little bit longer, gets a second as well, and a third. Get right. Looking to shut down this entire push by himself. Morals is eventually able to stop the rot here, but 3-on-2 with Forrest on the higher ground watching. Morals again able to take another kill. It's been pretty on point. Shpiro unfortunately gets caught looking the wrong way. But yeah, on that point, I feel like if you're an experienced team, you know, like, you know, Strauss, Liquid, you know, whatever, a team that's been around the scene for a long time as a core, playing for a long time in high pressure situations, I feel like you could go into a map on the harder side, and it's not a big deal.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
you'll
No,
reset
no,
your
no, no.
mindset coming into the second half. Like,
Of
you want the
course,
first
if you're
half
a
affected.
Astralis.
But the thing is, the point I'm making is if you're Adwokacik, you know, who's obviously seen as an underdog, who doesn't play against the big dogs as often, I feel like they're more likely to have the first half linger in their heads and won't be able to mentally reset going into the second half. So I'd agree with you, especially for the Polish squad here. But I have hopes for them, and I obviously, I think a lot of people out there want to see the Polish scene have a revival, the Swedish scene have a revival. Basically, anyone besides the US and Denmark at the moment to have a revival would be great.
Yeah, let's get the UK. Oh, no, it's not really a revival.
I just don't understand how you guys can't play together. So many egos get in the way.
And that's just my matchmaking team.
Well, again, NiP open up with the first exchange. Crazy thing is, I mean, we obviously could see the double up setup for NiP. We've seen it quite a bit on train, even just yesterday, and yet they're feeling like they don't need it.
I don't really know why you'd change anything at this point. Like, saw a bit from Lekro AWPing recently, which I don't mind. He was doing a very good job with it, although, well, I was going to say the Forest has been doing a good job so far, but he's actually used the Deagle for the majority of his kills, so who knows there. But yeah, this is looking rough for the Polish side. Like, really struggling to get anything in these rounds, and well, NiP are definitely one of those teams that, okay, if they have a bit of a slower start, get demoralized, we can see them get caught out in a lot of these situations and lose to teams that we wouldn't expect them to. The other side of the coin, though, is they have a lot of players that when they do get rolling, they're very, very difficult to stop. Like, at the moment, you've got almost 3 players in double digits. Get right just off 9 and 6. Lekro, he only has 4 kills, but he has 8 assists. So he's definitely doing damage along the way, and it's sort of hard to see any way to Advo get back into this.
Just the tip of the name, huh? That's all you're giving me. Okay.
What is it? So Advokacik.
Kachik.
Kaching.
Don't do the... Isn't that what magicians say at the end of their act? Huzzah!
Huzzah!
God, tilted me so
That's
hard.
what I'm going to say at the end of my magic act. I'm going to make the Polish side disappear.
Well, I think that's NiP's magic act, to be fair. Should be MIP, Magicians in Pajamas. We've seen Adwokacik, though, get a couple of like entry frags. They've been able to get the first kill, I'd say about 2 rounds so far, if not 3. Problem is they can't really capitalize off of that. And, you know, Get Right, if he's feeling good, we know how good Get Right can be. Sparrow, there we go, able to get a kill in the forest, able to get the follow-up as well. So we see some life coming into their team. The problem is it's a little bit too late because Sparrow's all alone with it all to do in 50 seconds on the clock. And it looks like we're going to have a 10-1 scoreline here for NiP. But honestly, it could be 14-1, and after yesterday, I could still not be 100% confident that the map's going to be done in in the next 2 rounds. 12-13 scoreline for Mouse Sports on CT side Mirage, and then it went to overtime. So,
yeah, that's the thing, though. But I know for a fact that Mouse Sports, in a lot of scenarios, have actually struggled with their T sides. Like, it's like if I ever watch them on a game of Train, I know that they can throw that match away even with a dominant scenario. Like the prime example for me was with the old Mouse Sports, where they got eliminated by a QB Fire, and QB Fire came legends off bringing back a 12-3 half against them. Like, they just struggle on their T side sometimes, and I think Carrigan has definitely helped with that, but it still happens from time to time. The Ninjas, however, I think it's more like you see them have a bad day. Like that's the thing that happens. Like when they're rolling like this, I don't really see things going wrong. Like players like Lekro, when they're playing well, they're going to get the openers on the T side, and I don't see the Polish side having the same sort of mental fortitude that we've seen. Like if someone wants to say like, oh, the FPL style of play, like the thing that comes to my mind, like how many times you see comebacks in those sort of games? You don't, because everybody gets tilted and doesn't want to play anymore.
Maybe you shouldn't be doing FPL style, maybe you should do an ESEA style. Maybe it'd be a little bit different. Maybe some rank S.
Yeah, you know, renowned for having less tilt in it.
I think something we both can agree on, though, at least, is that NiP, like, this is one of the most dominant performances we saw over these 2 days so far. Like, we've not seen rounds go so heavily in favor of teams. Even in the Mouse Sports game up against Tricked, You know, they did win 12-3 CT side. I feel like it wasn't as clean as NiP's done so far.
That game was the cleanest from yesterday, though. At least in the first half. Like they were
the cleanest one, double overtime.
They were very good at like keeping a lot of money going, which is the same thing that NiP have done. Although I will say that this is a very common sort of position where teams do somewhat let the last few rounds slip, and then we can see them getting back into things. Although, well, they've only lost one round. We'll see how the retake goes. That Molotov actually doesn't land, but still being able to take pop control. Morales has to be careful because there is still a flank coming in late. Get right is around that area. They now know there's a player on electric. Minio finds one, but they now know where he is, and there's a smoke onto the bomb as well. Only a few seconds left. They have to go for this defusal, and that is going to be ridiculously close. Have they got it? No, they don't. The Polish side get a second round on the board just based off of the bomb alone. And well, a smile on Spiro's face is something you always want to see.
Good signs for them. Still, though, it came down to just a millisecond of time. They got that kill a little bit quicker. I think it was forced if it didn't get caught by Minio there at the end. But still credit where it's due. That is a second round for Adwokacik, but it will 2 be enough as they move into CT side in the next few rounds. And there's still a problem they're going to be fighting is, even if they win this round, it's not like NiP's going to be hurting for money at all into the final.
Oh, okay. That was
seems pretty useless after 2 people already ran through it.
Completely pointless, but oh well. They're just going to go barreling into the site anyway. Hey, yeah, clearly they knew something that we didn't. They buff their damage by taking damage. That's how it works, and yeah, they've just absolutely wrecked everyone. As said, this is something that can quite commonly happen. A team can be very dominant throughout the majority of the half and then let a few of the last rounds slip. And we can talk about all the matches we had yesterday. Like, think about 1 or 2 extra rounds, like maybe a 13-2, 14-1. You don't see the team making a comeback, but 12-3, 11-4, hey, I could see the Polo side at least doing some damage.
They did win the pistol round on T side, which was a good start if they can move to CT and do the same. But they lost the follow-up round, so
yeah, that makes things kind of more depressing that there was 11-1.
Yeah.
It was 11-1 and you won the pistol. Then if my maths is correct, that means NiP won 11 rounds in a row.
I feel like we got, like, was it old school Dignitas playing? Where they could win the pistol, but they'd lose the follow-up round, like, every single time. Hey, they're going to be back in CS, apparently. Going to be picking up a roster.
They still have their female roster.
Yeah, we're going to be picking up a men's roster as well.
Oh, okay.
According to Reddit. You know, everything posted on Reddit is true.
Okay. Well, that means I've done a lot of very bad things.
Again, nice entry frag comes in. Popsky going to be playing towards Z-Box. They have not spotted him out, but it doesn't matter because he misses the first shots and Jed will kill him. Down to a 3-on-4, and Naka trying to help cover off. I believe it's going to be Get right there. As he equalizes things at 3 apiece. But again, Spiro's going to be there, and Spiro currently at 7 and 12. It's been very crucial in the rounds they've been able to win. Him and, I believe it was Morals, actually. But now 2-on-2, 20 seconds on the clock. Still so much utility to use for Forest as well. But will they expect Jed to be here? And they will not. And Caper as well. And just as we're talking about, you know, letting rounds slip, you pointed it out, you know, way earlier than this, Tom. 11-4. You see Adwokacik pick the last 3 rounds of the half and now have a fighting chance on CT side.
Yeah, I want to point out that at one point Letko was 4 with 8 assists. He finished the half with 14 kills and 11 assists. I think I want to have a look at his ADR. It must be off the chains. But yeah, a great performance across the board for Ninjas in Pajamas. But it is one of those unfortunate cases where that half was so sort of clean, and then they lose the last 3 rounds, and you sort of look at it and go, well, 11-4, okay, it's not good. There's no argument that it's good. Yeah. But it's workable. Like, you win yourselves the pistol, you're 4 rounds behind on the favored side of what I would say is the most CT-sided map currently within the pool. Like, okay, sure, some teams are going to struggle more on Nuke, but this is still the map where I expect to see a lot of CT rounds. So, hey, maybe that's what they've been waiting for, to switch over to this side.
They're getting very aggressive, playing very fast pace on the pistol round, going towards outside. Minio's gonna take the head clean off of Forrest, and a second on to get right as well. And it looks like they're gonna carry over the rounds from the last half. Carry this momentum over. It looks like Adwokacik should be able to get their 5th and the pistol round in back-to-back halves. Rez gonna be by himself up against 4 with no bomb. But the question for me is more, can Adwokacik win the follow-up round where they struggled previously?
You'd hope so, especially because the T-side force buys are quite a bit more difficult. And I think one of the only real classic ones I remember is Sunny getting an ace with the Deeg, which is pretty difficult to do. It was actually, he had 123.5 ADR in the previous half, which is disgusting. Rez was above him on points, but had 107 ADR total. So, yeah, a lot of assists. But yeah, like I would say that, what's it? So Adwokacik.
Hey,
something like that.
We got there.
That's the one. I don't like saying it though. It's difficult. Props to the people at home who can probably say it flawlessly and think I'm an idiot, which, well,
it's probably quite a few.
Yeah, including my mother. But
wow.
I don't blame her at all. She's probably not wrong.
I birthed you? Come on.
Oh. Yeah, disappointment. But
that is news for Popsky.
Yeah, I think this is actually possible now for them to turn around. Like, those last few rounds gave them a lifeline, and then pistol win brings them within a few rounds. Well, it should be 4. There will be an early buy coming in from NiP at least, and their goal in this round is to get the bomb down. They've got to get past good old Jed, who is going to be waiting, and while the bomb dropped into the open, he does his job perfectly.
I think this is going to be now the real test for them, because obviously NiP saved in the second round. Going to be buying up into the third. They still have 2 MP9s in the hands of Morals and Capers, so...
They got rid of one as well. So Jed just bought an AUG, so that they know as well as we do how important this round is, because this would be the way that NiP can sort of go, we had it all under control, there was never really any worry, just break their economy here, and you have a kind of easy road at least to like 14 rounds. Whereas if the CT side start bringing things back or win this round, gain some weaponry, that's a bit more of a problem. Letcro, well, the flashbangs were good. I think he would have got a very easy kill if it wasn't for them. Morales actually looking to get aggressive into mate. Now, Letcro knows that there's players this close. Flashbang going to come in. There's a crossfire here, but the MP9s are going to get both kills. Letcro and Forrest gone. And now they can retrieve those wonderful AK-47s. Jed has also got a pick on the other side of the map. And while Get Right just trying for a hero play, you can't really blame him at this point. A 2 versus 5 turn 1v5. And yeah, Advo are back.
I really want to say that shouldn't have happened in middle, though. It looked like Forrest just kind of fluffed his spray. Just slightly over the head of his opponents, and that should have been potentially double kill. Obviously, the MP9 going to excel in the close quarter combats there, but...
Well, that's a panic situation.
Yeah.
That's like when someone runs at you with a Bison. Like, you know you should win that duel, but at the same time, there's something about it that just makes it that much scarier than if they'd pushed you with a rifle.
It's because he's like peacocking on you, you know?
Well,
I mean, I still don't want to say necessarily that Adwokacik should be able to take this one in the back. I mean, it's been only a few rounds for NiP on the T side, and obviously there should be a little bit of favoritism in this just because of the legacy NiP has and the caliber of players they do have on the team. But hey, every round Adwokacik takes, more and more of a fan I become, and more of a possibility that they can actually take this first map, which is their map choice. And that's what we were talking about before, right? Is going up against NiP, you choose Train, but you get put on the T side of it.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to be down, you know, such a massive margin in the first half. And I was saying, you know, a lot of the top teams, experienced teams, will be able to mentally just, you know, brush it off and go into the second half focused. And it looks like Adwokacik have been able to do that, actually.
Yeah, they've got like a mix of like well-experienced players and a few that we don't know too much about.
I think the 3 rounds in a row they got at the end of the first half was what really kicked it off for them and really gave them the potential to pull it off.
Oh my god. I feel like that's one of the worst places in the game to get spammed through, because there's literally nothing you can do back, because there's about 400 positions that the person could be on the other side. That is disgusting. Cape has just been owned. And while Get Right at least making things a little bit more costly, has managed to retrieve an AK. Chances of him doing much more, slim, because they've already got 2 players on towards this B site. And the cross here would be impossible, and unless he just go, oh wow, that was ridiculous as well. Thankfully, Jed's there to put him down in the end, but hey, that's a success for Get Right. That round was a complete washdown for the rest of his team, and he's just managed to drop 3 players, cause a few rebuys, and actually, they're going to buy again off the back of this. Of course, that was actually only a pistol round. That really was successful for Get Right.
By the way, talk about the experience of Spiro and kind of how this team was established, because I talked to him about it. Just want to put that out there. It was actually established more than a year ago when he was benched at Team Kangwood for Spiro. They allowed him to play in some mixed teams, and he took his 2 friends, Caper and Minio.
Yeah.
And then you have the experienced players with Morals and Caper, and then the youngsters of Minio and Jed. So it's kind of like 3 experienced players trying to mold 2 talented new youngsters within the team. And hey, I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm pleasantly impressed so far. 11-8. They're fighting NiP. Again, it is their map choice, but on train, I like to see the mental reset. I like to see teams be able to stay focused and not really get down on themselves or tilted. And obviously, you know, a lot of people out there can say, well, when you're playing at this kind of level of Counter-Strike, you can't have that happen, but it does. It does happen sometimes.
It does, yeah.
And it's very hard to keep your mental focus going, but they've been able to do so. See if they can maintain it, though, over the course of this map.
Yeah, some decent openings in this round for the Ninjas as they do look to dominate this A site. Should be a trade back for Minio, but as long as the Ninjas don't let too much go the other way, he has gone down, but his teammate's still kicking. Plopsky through the side of the smoke will be able to find out Spiro and clean things up as well. No pressure for the youngster. 3 kills to his name and a 12th round on the board for the Ninjas. Now things get a little bit more difficult. You've won your first round. You've got yourself back onto the board after a long hiatus. But do you now get sent back to pistols, or is this where you just look to continue the domination of the first half?
We're going to see. I think it mostly comes down to Adwokacik if they can... Well, they're actually going to invest into the double up setup here. Spiro and Minio going to be holding this one. Going to be going for an early pick towards lower side of inner instead of using like a Molotov to prevent them from rushing him down. But luckily for him, there's not going to be multiple players there. Just the 1/2, Minio. Spot out at least 2 players now towards Ivy, so they have some information. The problem is Spiro's gone down to the 1v1 against Get Right, so they've lost the op, they've lost some inside control. Technically, as we can see on the minimap, there's no one there except, well, the rotate, which has come in out of Minio now. Or sorry, Jed, I believe that is.
Yeah, and he's got an MP9. So he can't do anything at range. He knows he has to get up close. Caper trying to gain something back, and instead he's met with Forest. An important pick to take. As now, once again, the man advantage sits with the Ninjas. It's going to be more aggressive plays. Get Right has turned away. That'll be a free kill for Jed. The timing on that, absolutely perfect, and I'm sure that's a frustrating kill to lose. Morales is also going to get another pick back, and this leaves the Ninjas now from a man to the good to a man down as they look to push in towards this B site. There's only one defender in the form of Jed. He's retrieved an AWP. The bomb is going to be planted, and there's a decent amount of utility, but Forrest misses the shot. This will be left all onto Lekro. He can do nothing. A great comeback in this round from the Poles. And they win with 3 players surviving. I can't say I expected that.
Maintain the double up on top of things as well. Only down by 3 rounds. Just to remind you again, if you're just tuning in, it was 11-4 first half for NiP.
It was 11-1 at one point.
It was.
And that was after 11 rounds in a row from the Ninjas. Since then, they've managed just 1.
That's got to be so tilty, don't forget, right? Because, like, if he just watched the angle half a second longer, he wouldn't have died, and NiP probably could have taken that round.
That's like the classic Counter-Strike moment where you watch something for ages and then they peak the second you don't.
Can't even blame him for that.
And that's why I've reported about 7,000 people for wall hacks, and about 2 of them have been banned.
I was going to say, do you just report everyone that's better than you? So all of
everyone.
It takes you a lot of time if you think about it. See, though, NiP able to buy up. Not much money left after this, though. Morals is going to be pushed out of ladder in here. Well, could have been. He's actually using the smoke himself. Looks like the hit's going to come in towards inners. They have a couple players already set up ready.
Oh, no, he's
not up the ladder. He doesn't know.
Oh, my God. That is so unbelievably lucky. But look, they're going to split back in towards this B site. They go. Jed defending. Has a bit of support. Is going to be able to get the open. Has to be careful. He's getting pushed and will be cleared. Spiro still keeps the man advantage going for the CT side. Another one for Spiro again. Experience showing through from the pole. And leaves it down to Rez and Get Right. The bomb not planted. They're desperately trying to find a kill back into this one, but they're somewhat surrounded. Get Right still managing to find another pick. Needs one more to at least bring them back, but Morels and Spiro combine to close out another round. It's slipping for the Ninjas. The Swedes unable to do anything on this T side.
When the hell did Jed get 20 kills, by the way? I feel like I've missed most of these for some reason. He's at 20. We have Morels at 19, I believe. He's just been quiet, but just slowly grinding out these kills, I feel like. And you have Spiro with a nice 3K at the end. It was definitely an important aspect of their success. I'll still call it success, especially for the last 3 rounds in a row they did take on the T side. The rounds before never happened. But now you have NiP on the save. We could see Adwokacik just get within 1 round of NiP here. Rez gonna fall virtually. Minio. Maybe get a little bit fortunate there, considering he wasn't holding that angle. And this is looking good for the Polish crew. I mean, their brethren, Virtus Pro, did not really perform well yesterday, but of course, just as I talk about it, NiP swarmed the site.
The curse of Jason Kaplan.
It's like the worst superpower to have, because I can't even make it work the way I want to. Minio with an op against 2. This would be massive. He can pull this off. He gets the first.
That's a nice peek from them.
Yeah. 2 angles, too, so they don't line up. Using the high ground and the low ground together.
But that could be the kicker for the Poles. Is they're sort of sat now with not much money, not many rounds to play with, and the Ninjas have given themselves a lifeline. Even still, they're not out of the woods just yet. We've seen a strong CT side so far from Advok.
Problem is, look at their money.
Yeah.
That's like the big kicker for them, is that they've been playing really well on the CT side here, but with no money to really buy in this round. We could be seeing NiP at 14. Then again, we've seen so many teams struggle to get past that 14 mark. I think this is worrying times for Adwokacik after a very good comeback here. They have to hope for something special to happen. They've invested. They got the M4, MP9, the Scout, M4A1. But will it be enough?
Yeah, this is where they need someone to step up and be the hero. Although I do love Forest Beard. There we go. Thank you. There's a sight to behold. I'm sure the producer just got locked in. But this is what we want to be seeing, Jed. There's the big play. Mentioning a hero being needed. This man is leading the server at the moment. Gets himself 2 kills. And not only 2 kills, he gets away. I don't even think he takes a point of damage. Like that, that's disgusting. They were not prepared for something so aggressive. And the rest of the team have not stopped there. They've gained a main control. The Ninjas have been pretty much forced back to their own spawn, just to try and feel a little bit safer, to have some comfort within their own home.
Well, with those 2 kills, he's also able to rescue an AK instead of the MP9. Will they expect a player, they expect Jed to be holding towards upper? Will he be the superhero that they need now? He had a window of timing to work with. Gonna come around the corner and takes the head off Lecker on the spray down. Comes through as well. Jed pulls off the quad kill. Gets Adwokacik 1 step closer to equalizing. Can he get the ace against Rez? And he will unfortunately not be able to. The Rez with 20 seconds up against 4 players. I feel like that's a little bit too much work to do.
Yeah, Jed's done more than enough. He has been the absolute hero in this scenario. And while Rez looking for that Goomba stomp, but it isn't going to be coming. 13-11, the straight break back. The only real saving grace is there's a little bit of extra money for the Ninjas thanks to that pistol round win. It's not even still going to be great. I remember a day where you did a spray anywhere near like that versus Forest, you'd be dead within a second, but not having one of those games. Still have to remind anyone who is just joining us, there was a point in this game where it was 11-1 in favor of NiP. Since then, 10 rounds have gone the way of the Polish side in comparison to the 2 the Swedes have managed to gain. They are struggling on this T side, and that's the thing. I sort of said that there are many teams who can struggle, even the likes of Mouse Sports on the T side of this map. Was expecting the Ninjas to at least put up some numbers, but they've had a pistol win based off a force buy and then one other round. Now they're going to try and brute force this B side. The upper push coming in already. Jed again, he really has been fantastic in this second half. 26 kills now to his name. Morel's also closing out another double of his own, and leaves Get Right in an attempt to clutch, but an attempt that never really began. 13 to 12 to 12, Jason. I can't even speak at this point.
You're close to the German number for 12.
What?
So it's like 12. 12.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Yeah. Even though they're Polish. I don't know how to say 12 in Polish, to be honest. And I've been there more than I've probably been in other countries this entire year.
I was waiting, because not more than Germany, though.
No, not more than Germany, luckily. Got to be home for a bit of time. But this is well done. Adwokacik, super impressed with how they've been playing. They're going to be up against another small buy out of NiP.
I think you described that perfectly.
Yeah?
This is a buy. They managed to win one of these previously, though. Looking for those dirty deegs. Caper. Oh, Forrest is gone. Just hoping to make some sort of solo play through Olaf. Thus far, it's not going to be the case. And the T's looking like they might try and group up towards this B site once again. An attempted bomb plant maybe on the cards. I like the fact that Advo have decided to double up their defense on this B site. They already have a 2-man advantage, so you can understand why. Rez just going to try and lurk out towards this A site. If he can wrap around or at least sell some sort of fake, that would be as good as it gets, really. He's going to at least hold a player or two there as the remainder push out, but wow, you're pushing out versus Jed. Don't know what you expected.
You push first, Jed, and you're going to be dead.
He'll shoot your head.
Oh, thanks. Nice. Could be like a rap group. It'd probably be terrible. I don't know what it would be called.
John.
Tayson?
Cat Biz.
Cat Biz has a little bit of a ring to it. 13-13. Something I never thought we'd be saying after 11-1 scoreline for NiP in the first half. I know we keep saying it, but credit where it's due for Adwokacik, able to come back from that.
Let's go, Jed. Do it to them, Jed. Oh, dear.
He dead.
Yeah, he did. Not Jed, he's dead.
I wonder if that was a play that was kind of unnecessary. Does maybe Jed feel like we were talking about this something yesterday, you know, when you feel like you're playing well, do you play a little bit more risky and try to make those plays for your team to win these rounds? And obviously he did it a couple of rounds before with the MP9, does it again here. He gets caught this time, though. NiP, they might be in pajamas, but they're not going to be caught sleeping a second time.
And this is twice now. Blopsky's just caught the aggressor. Like, NiP haven't actually had to do anything in this round. Yeah, I think from Jed's play, like, it's something he's done before, so you might like be a little bit more patient on the Ninja side.
This is how NiP actually won like a prior round, was just waiting for the aggression out of Adwokacik. They just like sat back, got the kills, and then just pushed in and won the round.
Even still, though. Spiro left, 8 HP. Okay, slight miss shot, but Get Right's there. He's actually been having a pretty decent game. Plopsky currently the one top regging, although there's only 4 kills between top and bottom on the Ninja side, and Letcro, he's still stuck with a load of assists. 16 kills, 13 assists. And let's see, can the CT side come back from that? They should have enough money to actually go for a buy into this round. And with the majority of the weaponry there as well, maybe a piece or two of utility missing, but they're still going to be in a good state here. And the Ninjas have only managed to just get their 3rd round in this second half. The question is, can the Polish side continue to do what they have been doing, or is the pressure now going to get to them?
Well, if they lose this round, they have nothing to buy into the next. This is pretty much map point for them here.
This is it.
Again, you see NiP, they're just sitting back, waiting for the aggression. This time, Adwokacik's not going to be going for it, smartly enough. And I think that's something that they maybe caught out and realized, yeah, we need to stop being so damn aggressive. Because they're using that to their advantage.
Well, that's the thing. They've been very good at actually defending the sites a lot of the time. Like, sure, Jed normally has to get a double spray down, but he does. Like, he doesn't need to go aggressive. It was only when they had an MP9 he needed to get up in the faces where that was really a valuable strategy. There we go. Fake smoke thrown out onto the A site. The push is going to be coming through. Jed throws down the Molotov, peeks out. There's that first kill, and still spraying wildly. I don't know how Get Right doesn't close him out there, but even still, Letcro has 2 kills to his name. Looking for that 3rd, but it isn't going to come. The trade, however, is there at least. Caper so low on health. There's a lurk coming in from behind. Minio expected it, and now it's left all onto Forest. He's going to miss the shot, and that'll be it. Caper breaks back. And now, well, the T's themselves, they're going to have money problems. You've got 3 players at least who can buy. However, Get Right and Plopsky don't have the money.
Jed on 30 kills.
Yeah, the man's been a beast.
He has. He's been consistently picking up like double kills, even when they enter the site towards B. I mean, maybe he got caught out in the last round with his aggression, but playing stupendously here. 30 kills. As we move into another timeout for NiP to discuss some things, figure out what's going on. You mentioned, I think it was 2 players NiP that could buy up. Will they play for the win, or they play for overtime?
This is something I do have to say about the Polish scene, though. Although we don't have particularly good teams, there always seems to be like players still rising up within the scene. Like Dia is a great example as well from Aristocracy, like found by Taz, and just a fantastic individual player.
I think there's like a ton of talent in Poland.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not they can get to a position to be mentored by the likes of you know, the Golden Five.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like a lot of them are either playing in separate teams now, or, well, it's like Neo was in FaZe, Taz has his own team, Pasha, don't really know what's happening there.
Snacks with Virtus Pro.
I'd like to be mentored by Pasha in anything. Like,
I would love to be mentored by him at the gym.
No, I don't know. I think it'd be funnier if it was something else, like maybe learning English from Pasha. That would be fun.
It would probably improve me, to be honest.
He'd definitely teach me things I didn't know before.
Yeah.
Whether that's an improvement in terms of my language skills, that's another question.
Well, the question here is with NiP being a man down, can they get themselves to 15? Jed, he's actually rotated over towards middle this time. And he gets one. MP9 again.
Ooh.
Caper. Morals as well, able to chime in. Jed gets a second, and just like that, Adwokacik are 1 round away from taking the first map here up against NiP. Jed on 32. What is his ADR? It's got to be pretty ridiculous as well. 3 assists, 32 kills. And I'm also curious about his like 2+ kill rounds, because
he is on 103.
And 29 rounds in.
It might go up a bit because he got a kill in that round as well. Yeah, the man is on fire. The next closest is Plot. Oh no, it's actually Letcro with 86 because of all of those assists.
Yeah.
And then Plopsky with 80. Next on his team is 71. So yeah, he really is leading the charge. Caper is already going to kick things off. It is Lecro gone. The power of Pop. They will be cleared out eventually. Caught on the reload. Rez can't take the risk to go around the corner.
Nice backup too, though, from his teammate with the flashbang. The problem is NiP has still been able to get 2 kills unexchanged. Moral's going to be holding the smoke. He actually might have some company if a person decides to push through it. They've stalled the plant for now. But an op and an AK to take this. This is going to be tough. Now down to a 2-on-2 force. Going to meet his maker. Moral's going to be pushing on top of the site. Spiro trying to watch. Trying to cover his side. And there we go. Morals again gets the kill. 59 seconds left. The bomb is down. Get right all alone against 2. He's won these in the past, but can he do it again? And there we go. Morals goes down to Spiro to save the game and win it for him. But Get Right keeps him alive and takes him to overtime.
That is not a celebration from the Ninjas. 23 kills for Get Right. Leading the way. He's the man that people have talked about replacing, but in all honesty, I don't think he's the one we're looking at this point. Like, in all honesty, he's been one of the better players within the server, like winning rounds that they probably shouldn't have had, which, considering the way the first half went. But that is not a cheer. That is relief.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. Like, it's not like they're the one on the comeback. They had a massive lead that they let slip. But overtime is a different story. Can Jed keep things up? He had 33 kills in regulation, Jason. And the next highest is on his team in the form of Morales with 25.
Rez rushing straight out of middle, picking up the pace, catching off Caper. Morales, he's not even got a chance either. Rez has had enough. He gets a quick double to start things off in the first round of overtime. Minio's going to be here with an op this moment, but Force is able to take him out of the fight. A very quick round considering the way NiP have been playing. Maybe that's what they needed.
Yeah, pick up in pace. Well, 16k MR3 money doesn't really play much of an issue unless you're buying multiple AWPs, so we could see go for it here. Almost a kill for Jed, but Get Right is there to put him down, and they have spotted out Spiro. And Ninjas will take the first round on the T side in overtime. Now, we saw yesterday, the side of the map somewhat becomes a bit redundant when it comes to overtime. We had both teams winning 3 rounds in a row on the CT side, and then the next one, they both got 2+ each. It just happened the Mouse Sports got 3 and won themselves the map, so...
I couldn't even see him through the fire there. Great shot by Forrest.
He's got the best settings in the game.
We'll Get Right. Unfortunately, gonna get caught. But again, the aggressive play coming in right into Jed, and Jed's only able to get 1. Spiro, they're able to respawn, looking for another. Actually gets almost torn to the second player. Unfortunately, the shot's gonna miss. It's gonna go a little bit wide. It's down to a 2-on-2. Forrest gonna get the bomb down. Minio's actually looking to take the high ground position. The problem is he doesn't really have a lot of cover towards the lower spots of anyone to get aggressive on this side of NiP, and both players have done just that.
I think they expect people to be close, but they may not know how close. An important kill for Minio, and leaves Forrest now in the clutch. We've seen Get Right do it moments ago. Now it's Forrest's turn as he gets the first, but this could just be the defusal. Minio tapping it out, trying to bait him into a peek. The thing is, he can't even really take the shot. May just go for it now. He has to hold on to the defusal, and he may just have it as well. Forrest can't find the shot, and it will be the Poles to steal a round away. The sneaky defuse coming out in the end to get them around on the board.
I almost like that. The smoke going down, and he actually doesn't sit on the bomb. And then once Forrest starts missing the shots, realizes, okay, well, he's got to be defusing it. He then starts to overcorrect because he didn't see the bomb before the smoke went down, and it actually forced him to shoot way too far right. I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional or not. As you said, he was trying to get Forrest to peek him, but that shot right there, that saved the round. Minio hitting that crucial shot. And well done here, tying things back at 16 apiece as we move into the last round of our first half of overtime. Again, so many great individual plays coming out of both teams.
Oh no.
Of course, just as we talk about being a hero in the last round.
Oh,
Rez.
wow. That's 2 rounds now in overtime that he has completely opened up the round on his own. Even still, these rounds always seem to come a little bit close, but Forest adds another to the Polish body pile. Jed, no, he can't do anything. Hasn't managed much in this half of overtime. That will be a flawless round for the side of NiP. 17-16, 2 rounds on the T side. They only managed double that in the regulation, so good position here.
I feel like if Adwokacik played CT first and T second and still ended with like a 3-4 round or a 3-round streak, I feel like then starting T side they'd be okay. But because so many rounds have happened, what, 18 since then? I feel like they're going to almost forget how to play T-side. Or on the other side of that coin, maybe they've been able to think about it and come up with a new idea of what to do.
I think when it gets to this stage of the game, strategy goes out the window. They wanted to play FPL style. This is what they're getting. Like, look at how Rez managed to win that last round. I can't say that that was anything to do with intense strategy, mind-gaming opponents. He ran to Ivy and killed someone, then continued to run out Ivy and killed someone else. Like, it just comes down to who's hitting their shots at this point. That you're not going to see the craziest strategies or the best smokes you've ever seen. This is long past that position. This is where it comes down to the individuals. Who is going to be the star of the show and who will be left cowering in the wings.
Looks like Adwokacik want to make a play towards lower, towards his inside sight. Get right does have the support of Forest back towards connector, but I feel like if these smokes get set down, he's not really going to be too effective to help out. Is that 4 players going towards upper? No, just 3. Hopefully it's just 3. For the sake of Adwokacik. There's a smoke going down. Covers off the angle Forest had. This is actually worried for me because of how slow they've taken this. We have people potentially ready to flank in from behind. Forest gets the first connection. Get right has not been dislodged just yet. Forest gets a second onto the following Jed. Ball might get planted, but money again not going to be a big factor in overtime. And someone's going to have to hit these shots. Minu, can he do it again? Well, there's our answer.
Espero left. This is impossible. Like, there's just so many players to find. He does manage to get himself the first, but they wrap towards the bomb, start that defusal. He knows he needs to hit the guy defusing and just can't do it. Rez will hold the line. Now another position for the Ninjas to close this out. Only 1 round needed.
Możemy po czasie znowu wejść, ja się pod koniec znowu wyrzucę, to wychodzi zawsze.
What'd they say?
I couldn't tell you.
I like how you thought about it for a second.
There's very few Polish words I know, and again, most of them I can't say on air. But I'm pretty sure there's a famous one that most people out there do know. But NiP 1 round away. Again, from an 11-4 score at the end of the first half to overtime.
Was it Katarzyński?
That's a Polish word?
Yeah, I think it's a type of, like, biscuit.
Of course. Is it a biscuit with chocolate in it, Tom?
I think it can have it on it.
Oh, my God.
Or it might be a cake. I can't really remember. It's food, and it's good.
Well, speaking of cakes and being sweet, that was a sweet shot by Forrest to give them the man advantage in a very crucial round. I think most people out there, again, look at this and like, yeah, NiP should be able to win this match, but it hasn't been so easy for him. Jed, who was on 33 in regulation, I believe it was, only on 34 now, having not as great luck as before.
Only.
Yeah, only.
Yeah, it does seem like he might have used up everything in his tank. Get right. He's going to go down, but he'll burn Cape up. Trade his own life.
Well, because they got the bomb down, though, it's been forced the person to go back for it to plant it, which leaves Minio kind of by himself aggressive.
Yeah, this is still a really strong position, but he actually loses the fight. And it's left all onto Jed, the man who started it all, but he can't do anything this time. It has been a long grind from NiP after being so far into the lead. They could have closed this out a long, long time ago, but at least they have got themselves the map in the end. And I believe now they head into their pick as well.
Yeah, they don't look happy at all from that match. And I don't think they should be. I think when you're a team like NiP going up against a team like Adwokacik, you can't really let them feel good about that victory. I mean, they won nonetheless, which should be something that, you know, it's a note of positivity, but that was not in a fashion that they should have been able to pull it off. With the first half scoreline, the things slipping away. But I guess on the other side of that, we can talk positively about Adwokacik. I didn't know what form they'd be in coming to today, and taking that map so close is a good sign. The problem is moving on to Overpass. Well, they haven't played more than 3 maps of it in the last 3 months, and NiP have an 80% win rate on it. So a little bit worrying times for me.
Yeah, it's like a good sign in a sense that they almost managed to win, but I think that could actually be a far worse way to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Like the fact that they managed to get it all the way back, they get to map point and then lose the game, I think is actually going to hurt them far more than anything else. And even if they'd just been whitewashed, that could have been a better sort of way to lose.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for us on the desk. Let's head over to the other desk, the Sato desk.
Wow. Good name for it, if I do say so myself. NiP Magic, what a comeback, man. It's great to see NiP pull off such a great performance. What the hell was that?
When you're leading 11-1, CT side train, you'd think that that game would have been all right. You'd think that NiP has all the experience, they have all the know-how in order to close such a game against such an opposition that is by no means scary. Yes, they did play well. Yes, they have some decent talent on the lineup. But if you're NiP, you gotta be able to close that one out. The fact that they're allowing that to go to O2, the fact that they're allowing that to, like, it required a get-right 1 versus 2 clutch at the score 15-14 in order for them not to lose it. Completely unacceptable once again from NiP.
They had to clutch back to get overtime after being up 11-1. Yedeke, I think they just told me how to pronounce it. Yedeke. He was sick. He was pushing the B holes like crazy. What was NiP doing, giving him so much space? Finally, Plopsky shut him down, but after about the 3rd or 4th time.
Feels to me like it's more complacency, really. You kind of start coasting. You know, 11-1 up, and you feel like it's easy, and at that point in time, you easily start playing a little, just not. I'm not going to say not caring, but kind of like you kind of start doing things you would normally do, and then things just slip out of control. And then you kind of see as the game goes forward that the fundamentals are necessarily not there for NiP. You know, they don't have the bread and butter strategy that they can go to, which will win them rounds, or they will put themselves in advantageous situations. So it's more from the NiP side. If you look at it, the way that they were playing, it was just mostly them trying to ram bomb sides, someone just running out of Z hall, outer bomb side, trying to get a kill, making a 5-on-4, that type of place.
You're absolutely right. You could see the tilt. Forrest jumps off onto spools in the middle of a site. Get right trying to shoot in midair, dropping into B. They were getting desperate.
Talking about Forrest, though, I have a problem with the fact that he's now the main AWP player for NiP.
I think you said something about retiring or something.
That was actually not in terms of him. Okay. I think he still is a great player. But the fact that he's playing the AWP right now is, to me, a big problem, right? He was 0 for 4, I believe, in opening duels at a certain point. Normally, he's a guy that likes to go in first. He's an entry fragger. He's a very aggressive player, right? He creates a lot of space around him and for his teammates when he has a rifle in his hand. When he's the AWP player, he plays way more laid back. He's not creating the same scenario. He's not creating opening frags. He's basically doing absolutely nothing for the lineup in that sense. He's not a great clutcher or great, closer in that sense either. So right now he's in the middle of nowhere in terms of his role, and that's a big problem for NiP because I believe he's the biggest asset they have on the team.
I think that pretty much sums up all of NiP. They're middle of nowhere right now.
It does seem.
No man's land.
Well, we just saw something like, what was it, 42 players either restricted free agents or on the transfer list, free agent list, whatever you want to call it. Arguably the biggest shuffle we've ever been in, and yet we're finding so many teams that are still without an identity. Even Taco in MIBR is not sure where he's going. There's all these changes going on in the scene, and yet teams still seem a little bit lost.
Yeah, I think from an NiP perspective, this is a discussion we've had for the last 18 months, basically. What are the roles of each of the individuals within that lineup, right?
Yeah.
That's why you see a player like Forrest being on that main AWP role, where he should be maybe the secondary one. But when he have a double op setup on the safety side, yes, he can definitely do damage with the weapon, but he can also use an AK-47 on a T side as a AWP, basically, because he can be very precise with it, right? But then also be far more mobile. And that's the kind of play style he's known for. And he should get that kind of freedom to make those type of plays.
Well, I think you're absolutely right not to. We do switch focus now because map 1 might be done, but map 2 is Overpass. This is NiP's choice. They didn't have a high win rate on Train. Not going to excuse the fact that this is Adwokacik, but even still, Now they get to go on their territory.
Yeah, and I think Overpass is one of the few maps that they have actually been looking good on as for NiP. I think it's a map where they know the fundamentals, right? They know each their roles. I think Plopsky is playing well as well on that map. Rest has always been a star in terms of Overpass. He's creating a lot of space. He's so good with the AK-47 on that T side. We see time and time again when he enters into the A-bomb side, he's just going to destroy everyone. So I think Advocado, they had the one chance right here, and that was beating them on train to get it into a third map. But for now, despite the fact that I'm very annoyed at NiP, despite the fact that I really don't like them at the moment because they are not playing as good as they should, I think they will win with easier.
Yeah, I feel like the superior, like, if you look at the train, this gonna sound a little funny, but the superior coordination that they should have, right?
Yeah, it should have.
Should be the one fact that will make the difference on Overpass.
Well, we'll see if it is. I get the increasing feeling that Rez has to be the star of this team. And as you say, AK, Overpass, maybe that's the difference. We take a break. When we come back, we go back with Tom and Jason to jump into map number 2 and see if NiP can get the 2-0. Remember, both of these teams play twice today. In fact, back-to-back games for one of them because we've got to get Group B caught up with A, given that NiP was late. We'll be right back in a second to commence this series.
kamikaze. Massive pills. Royal blood, you know what it is. Yo, massive.
Rendeld elő a konzolvilágnál!
Új külső, lehetőségek és rengeteg felfedezni való. Készíts saját esport egy profilt. Kövesd a hazai és nemzetközi esport közvetítéseinket. Légy naprakész a gaming világ híreiből. Szólj hozzá, oszd meg velünk gondolataid. Keresd és teljesítsd a küldetéseinket. Gyűjts pontokat aktivitásoddal és váltsd be őket ajándékokra. Csatlakozz az esport egy közösséghez.